Now arriving at Lijiang Tower. Initiating match.
Alrighty, everybody, welcome back to the Valhalla Esports League. We are here for our spring 2026 season, kicking things off with some Division 1 Valorant. Have Lancaster High School up against XPL-WTX Kraken here for our first game of the season on stream. I'm joined by my good friend, your boy Q. How are you doing today?
Oh, I am living the dream. You mentioned it. It's week number 1 here at the Valhalla Esports League, and we've got all sorts of new potential heroes that we'll be getting to see come into play over the course of the day. I'm excited to get down to it.
And yeah, again, as you mentioned, the new characters, for those of you who aren't as familiar with Overwatch, potentially in the most recent major patch, 5 brand new characters were added to the game, some of whom we'll be seeing here. Domina and Jetpack Cat coming out now for our first blue side here. As we'll see a Symmetra TP onto point. This Domina tank character currently being piloted by Magically. Very, very, very strong, so definitely keep an eye out for them. Lots of damage, lots of shielding coming through. Very powerful ultimate as well, but we'll wait and see how it works out. Vendetta trying to flank on the side right now is Sea Serpent, as they are struggling to break their way on point. Symmetra doing a good job stalling, but holding on for the moment. Ramatra ult for Magically might just get taken out here by the freakiest. Ramatra not able to force that kill, but they will secure first point in possession here, so it's a really nice start. But Kakyoy on the Lucio gonna take an early death, and now some players frantically trying to get healed up. Parasol finds the opening pick. Freakiest has to pop the ult for him. Zasiv taken down on the Cassidy here. The tank gonna go down here as well on the Ramatra, and while it will be the first 16% taken, it is gonna get reflipped with the first real fight win.
It's always a tough part when you're the first team that pushes on to the point. You're stuck with the job of really trying to solidify and hold the point down. When your first player that falls as a support, man, it's tough pickings from there. We saw that exactly the way that broke down.
And yeah, again, we do have at the side of LHS now. They had that first possession now, struggling a little bit to fight their way back in. Ramatra gonna get stunned his way back out of the fight for the moment. And some side flankers here. It's Kiri and Vendetta stacked up right now, trying to stay stable as Ramatra really trying to break their way through here. But again, this front line pretty stable for this opposition side of the Kraken. But Symmetra teleport, they're just going to go in here, get 5 on point. Ultimate comes out onto the back line. It's going to be Chacharon in a little bit of danger here. Zassiv goes down as well to the mirror as they will be able to retrade Parasol, but not before losing their second DPS. Vendetta reaping behind as well. Both supports dead. Freaky is dead. And while the flip came through for LHS on that fight, again, it'll be taken once again by the side of the Kraken, who lead now by about 15% and counting.
Just can't help but wonder if almost overextending to try and get the flip on that point, right? You'd rather be able to get 1 or 2 people down over on the opposite side. Make sure you can hold on to the point for a while. It's just been a struggle for LHS here so far.
And yeah, they're just going to do the same play. They're going to teleport in, try and flip it. Photon Barrier comes out. They do get the flip again. So during the fight, they're at least continuing to get progress on the point. The Photon Barrier, it's just going to be waited out, right? This is a strong symmetrical Annihilation available. Might get burned here by the Freakiest once we get to that. But Jetpack Cat trying to drag him off the map. Not able to get him all the way out. Vendetta coming slashing in. Zassiv goes down early once again. Domina through 2 off the map here. Both supports get thrown off. Lucio can recover. Kiri jumped on as well. Annihilation now trying to wreak havoc on this backline here, as we'll see if this LHS side can make it happen. Freakiest able to take down 2 now. Ramatra ult balanced. He's able to take down 3, trying to refight Vendetta and Kiri, not able to make it happen. And LHS, they take the lead for a brief moment, but the fight win will resecure it now for the Kraken. 60% both teams.
Yeah, it just feels like the Kraken doing a better job as far as their target prioritization, which has helped them turn some of these fights around. When you get those supports out, you're in a struggle, but right now, Serpent's been doing a great job of being able to open up this fight as well.
And yeah, I mean, they just keep going in with the Symmetra. I'll get back to that in a moment, but right now, Freaky is just running straight forward. Tassel comes out, is able to take down Kakyoy with it. That reload helping out quite a bit right now, as they aren't able to get the flip on this fight, unfortunately, and it's really rough there. Even though the Ramatra was the last player to die, the Symmetra teleport's able to get him back on point before magically the opposition tank, but unfortunately for LHS, the Kraken, they're able to hold on to the point and win the fight out, so they are just going to pop some ults now. Sim goes down early. They get the teleport though, so there could be a flip chance once again. Both supports make it to the point, but Vendetta able to hold on. Sound Barrier comes out, but it's not early enough to save the Kirikos. Chicharrones has dropped already. Now Jetpack Cat ulting, gonna try and grab the Freakiest off point. There goes Ramatra. He's dropped into the pit, and round 1 on Li Zhang is gonna go to the Kraken.
Love to see the work with the new tank there from Jetpack Cat. We saw him a couple of times going for that grab to be able to at least get somebody moved off of the board. This time around, successful in that regard. And it just felt like, overall, when it came to those team fights, over on that WTX Kraken side, they just seem to have the organization going, right? It just feels like they're all aiming at the right target. They're not just going on their individual fights, and that's what's allowed for them to take that first point. I don't want to call it with ease, but it felt pretty darn near close to it.
And yeah, I mean, again, it's one of the things I was a little bit concerned about when I saw these comps. I love Ramatra. I was going to say as much as, but it's realistically probably more. I'm a Ramatra player, but he's just not the greatest character of all time right now, whereas Domina has been absurdly dominant in this game, really, since they came out. Domina has been arguably a top 3 tank at all points since the release, so definitely going to have to see if this Domina is able to just keep controlling the game here, if the Ramatra is going to be able to break through, or maybe if some comp swaps will save them out. They will change Zosiv to the Mei, and that empty Cassidy now goes to the former Symmetra of Snotty Waddy. As we'll see them able to get the first kill here as Vendetta trying to pressure onto the side, try and get this first early kill on Cass, but Sea Serpent ends up committing too deeply, so it's just going to be a nice early fight win. Dr. K able to get the kill there on that Cass onto Zosiv again, but for the moment, it is just going to be the first grab here by LHS, as they will continue to pressure this bridge while the tank returns.
Like to see it. They're able to get themselves the point, able to keep this squad here at bay on the other side of the bridge. The question is for how long. A quick push onto the point that'll at least be able to take down the Ramatra, which should open up the door for the rest of the push.
And I mean, yeah, it's just a really, really good conversion there. Vendetta jumps through the window, throws some damage on the back line, and eventually dashes on over to help pressure Ramatra's. Unfortunately, now we might have a stagger. Chicharron and Zosiv definitely in a lot of danger here. Cryo will save round one, but Chicharron not able to keep themselves alive here on the Kiriko. No one to jump to. Suzu not quite available to keep them up, so we'll see the reset now, obviously 20% almost and counting for the Kraken. They will retake the lead here in a moment. It's Snotty Wadi, a massive stagger, and here we go, Deadeye in the air. The Cat's trying to drag him behind. Suzu comes out, holding on to the Deadeye, takes both supports, and now they just send it into the back line. That's one of the goofy things with Jetpack Cat. You can just carry your teammates whenever you want, and while Deadeye is typically not a great ability, hard to get kills with, when you can fly around on a Cat, things like that happen, and we find multis with it.
You just turn around here. They're now up to 40% over on that Kraken side, and gonna have a couple of more ults at their disposals. Other than just the magically one, they'll essentially have 4 ults at their disposal here in the next like 8 seconds or so.
And yeah, we'll see the attacking side now as well, trying to farm some up. D just comes up, Kitsu just comes up, Annihilation just comes up. So we have some things to try and do now to retake this point for the LHS side. But right now, obviously, a couple of ults against them. That Cat ult as well, going to be very dangerous. Have to be careful of this dominant ult as well. Kitsu comes out, Castle comes out now, Annihilation comes out. And those two offensive ults of that Cass and that Ramatra should be enough to wipe this fight clean up. They won't be able to get too much for it except for that Kitsu. But you do go 2 ults for 1. It's not the worst trade ever, and you do get the recap, which you definitely undeniably need, so it's definitely an okay step here.
Good first step, but you are pretty well going to need to hold the line from here, right? With the fact that the WTX Kraken is already up over that 74%. If they cap this point, you need to sprint back to the point to make sure you can get a touch to keep this round alive.
And yeah, we'll see the re-attack coming out now. Kitsu comes out from Chicharron's. There's going to be a retreat right now as Parasol actually dies on the side, trying to work with this Vendetta, able to keep this kill. Now they will have the tempo with that support. Dead Lava Tank almost gets staggered out here, but will be able to get that healing online. Dr. K as well, the same situation, barely staying on their feet as Parasol officially returns. So we really are now probably 2 fights away from the end of this round, if not the map. Lava Tank trying to find something with this Cat ult, but there's not anywhere too great to target right now. Deadeye comes out, walls and shields immediately getting employed here. Dr. K trying to move on forward, not going to get a kill, but they're going to do a lot of damage to Ramatra. Blizzard, though, catches 2 here. Domin is able to get the shield down for themselves, but the beat comes out from Kick. Yoi magically goes down. Deadeye comes out now from themselves. They will take down Sea Serpent with it, and there's a lot of ultimates burned here from the LHS side, but they go 4 for 0 in the team fight with Lava Tank's Jetpack Cat retreating 90% and counting here. They just need to keep them off the point, but it's going to be tough to keep the Cat away if they try and touch, but the Cat dies to Chicharron's Vendetta now. Has to try and touch, but they pop the Vendetta. Oh, nobody can touch here. Shot down out of the sky, and we go to round 3 rather here on the side of Lijiang Tower.
Hey, you know what? We were hoping for a banger to start off our spring semester here at VHEL, and it does look like, at least as far as on control, thus far on the end tower, we're getting just that. It felt like over on that WTX Kraken side, they had everything kind of set up for them halfway through that second point, but man, oh man, LHS had other things in mind.
And yeah, this swap really worked up for them. I'm always a little bit confused about the theory when I see a team have a person A on a certain DPS and then they swap that character over to their other DPS. But this cast swap over for Snotty Wadi and Zosiv on the Mei has been working out really well for both of them there in round 2, as both teams gonna not keep the same comp. Sea Serpent swaps over to the Reaper at the last second away from that Vendetta, decided that the Sword Maiden not having as great of a time in this new comp against that Mei, so we'll see for the moment here. Ramatra trying to hold on. It's an early death for Chicharron, though, as the wall grabs onto a few, but they're not going to be able to get any kills off of it immediately here for this LHS side. Freakiest running away, Domina just charging in, but it should be a pretty free team fight at this point for West Texas, and yeah, they will pick up the remaining players. Chicharron now just sat in spawn, as first cap will come over to West Texas.
And this point is tricky, right? Because once you do get the cap, you'll see most teams do, well, pretty well exactly what we're seeing from WTX Kraken, which is pushing all the way up towards that next door. You meet with that early resistance and try and get as much of that percentage off the first fight as possible.
And yeah, it's a really early death here for Snotty Waddy on the cast now, as it will be the Dominant as well, able to get the kill onto Kakyoy. Now they're just looking to get some staggers, farm up some extra. Oh, there goes Chicharron, there goes Freakiest, there goes Zosiv. Domino Wall comes up to try and get them away before some more ult can get farmed. Snotty Waddy gets up to 82%, but at this point, the only thing you're doing damage for is ult charge. All 10 players do have both of their perks, so we'll see ult charge being the name of the game in terms of farming. Now it's Snotty Waddy, a bit of damage there, chunk to half HP. Deadeye comes out here. We're trying to get the cat to fly him around, but there's just not really any targets. There's no one to look for, but now it's just a 3v5. They have a support and DPS missing, so it is just going to be a really early death for Parasol here, but they will be able to regroup here. Castle comes out from Snotty Waddy. They need to be careful about this shield coming down. Sea Serpent hiding above, dropping down on the cast. Gets the pick here. Nice by Sea Serpent. Magically going to go down to the freeze, though. Zosiv now. Death Blossom takes down Zosiv. Chicharron, a lot of damage on the Ramatra now. He'll go down. Kakyoy trying to stall on point, but they don't have possession, so he's going to try and run away, and it does look like he'll get out, but they're down 70% now.
Wow, I'm not exactly sure what went wrong in that fight. It felt like they were able to get that first opening pick, almost got the second, and then all of a sudden, when things looked like they were starting to go right, well, they weren't. And now it's 20% left. They have to find a way to get onto this point. It's now or never for the squad here.
And yeah, Cat gonna just grab Ramatra. They're gonna just hard DPS burst him. The Cat ult comes with a stun before they pick somebody up, so they just use it on the tank and hard hit onto them. Magically, maybe not the greatest Domino ult of all time, but you're just stalling a couple of extra percent, so you don't really need it. Dr. K goes nuclear here at the end, and that is gonna be secured. Round 1 in their favor. Round 2 looked good but fell away, and in round 3, West Texas Kraken just completely destroyed to take round 1 on Li Zhang.
Yeah, it felt like it was so back and forth until that third point, did it? And then all of a sudden, it just really felt like WTX Kraken did a phenomenal job of being able to lock in when it mattered the most. And Sea Serpent going to be walking away with the play of the game. It's a nice ult to be able to really turn around things in the middle part of that fight.
And yeah, really nicely done there for this side. That we'll be able to take map 1 here. We'll take a peek on to map number 2. Again, we are playing best of 5s now here in Division 1, so we're moving on over to Hybrid. And what do you think? Do you think they're going to go Blizzard World, Kings Row, or Midtown? Any predictions based on what we saw there?
I feel like whenever Kings Row is on the table, you have to lean that direction, right? I feel like it's such a tried and true, especially at the Scholastic level. If I had to put my money anywhere, that's probably where I'm guessing. But man, honestly, give me some Blizzard World. I love switching things up.
And yeah, I'm definitely interested to see, because if they do want to hard commit to this Ramatra, I wouldn't be surprised if they go somewhere maybe like Midtown. It's not the best hybrid map pool for Ramatra, obviously, maybe not even the best game mode, but we'll have to wait and see before we can worry about characters. We have to worry about our map pick, which will, of course, take a little bit of time. So we're going to send things on over to a very short break. Should be back within a few minutes. Map 2 of the day.
entering King's Row. Initiating match. Now entering King's Row. Initiating match.
Alrighty, welcome back. We are here for map number 2. We are, of course, heading to King's Row. It's the classic, the tried and the true, so we'll have to wait and see here which way we are going to go. We do have a side swap, it looks like, so it is going to be the West Texas Kraken now on our right/red side, attacking first, but we'll make sure to get that fixed up on the overlay here in a moment, as we'll wait and see what our comps are going to be. For the moment, it is going to be, once again, sticking to some of the older characters for the side of LHS and West Texas. Looks like they're going to be running a pretty similar comp to what we saw. Domina, Cat, Vendetta all coming out alongside Kiri, and it's Widowmaker on King's Row, so I expect we'll see it gone very, very quickly.
Yeah, I do gotta say, I love seeing all of the newer heroes coming out. It's a chance for us to kind of get a nice early look at them here in the spring semester. I do understand, though, as far as on the side of LHS, like, especially playing from behind, like, why try and bring out anything new? Take what, you know, kind of works best for you.
And yeah, I mean, it's definitely not surprising to see, but we'll get on in here for the moment. A couple of these characters definitely a little bit strong in the meta right now. As there we go, the Freakiest just gets dropped quickly by Magically. Vendetta assured the Domina shield just charging on forward. Bastion not able to get ready, so it just has to back away. It does look like they will concede at least a large chunk of this first point. Bastion doesn't have that ult for him, so I'm not really sure what the play is going to be to try and refight. Dr. K is going to be dragged up into the top level. Magically sits on point to keep progress going, and again, we'll see 2 ticks grabbed up now. Ramatra is ready to go again, so if they want to fight, they definitely could make a push, but doesn't look like they're going to be going in time, so yeah, we'll be the first point secured here.
Nice and easy. One fight was all it takes to be able to secure the point. Now the question is, how far can you push this thing? It's 5.5 minutes on the clock, and it feels like, as far as for WTX Kraken, they have been doing a phenomenal job as far as being able to keep themselves grouped together without overextending.
And yeah, we'll see it for the moment here. We'll be Freakiest and Exhaustive picking up some nice and early kills, as we'll see them go down some of the DPS, and Parasol there chunked away as Domina for the moment holding it down this front side where they try and keep slowly moving the cart forward. Bastion though, just gonna get ripped. We'll see who it's targeting. Maybe Dr. K, who actually is gonna get picked up by the cat, as obviously it's a prime target. Parasol gonna have a couple knocked toward them, but no damage even gonna be dealt with it. But there, wow. There we go. Goodbye, Lava Tank. The Jetpack Cat has died very early in this fight, but it's still going to be commit here. Deadeye comes out. Dr. K charging forward, gets exhausted. Parasol traded out as Ramatra trying to charge forward, but unfortunately he is going to go down. Sea Serpent retraded, and again, the Domina could lead the charge through the Bastion and supports here, as Snotty Waddy going to have a lot of pressure to get work done if they want to hold here, but it does look like it will just be an attempt at retreating here, as Bastion does unfortunately get picked off.
Got caught just a little too far forward. Snotty Waddy will fall. The question is, can WTX Kraken find anyone else? We see they definitely have no problem pressing on the gas and trying to play super aggressive. See just how much space they can buy for the rest of their squad, as they've already been able to take down 2, one of them being the tank and one of them being one of their 2 supports as well.
And yeah, I'm a little bit concerned here. I feel like we might need to see this comp swap. I mean, again, did a quick check of some of the statistics. Ramatra and Domina are currently in top ranks, the best and worst character by win rate. And so I'm definitely a little bit hesitant to see this Ramatra stuck to. It did okay in some of the rounds of map 1, but We'll see it right now. I mean, they're really just getting ran back into their spawn. Magically is just charging forward. The cart hasn't even gotten to the second checkpoint, and yet we're basically already seeing a spawn hold coming out here from our offense as Kakyoi goes down. And I mean, again, they're doing this without the jetpack cat. They're 4v5ing an enemy spawn right now, and again, maybe just some of the presence of some of these characters. Again, Domina here leading the lobby in damage, 4,900 compared to just 45 for the next highest, and a couple other people trailing, still only at 3,000 or 4,000 for some of the other DPSs. We'll see Freakiest trying to charge forward once again here on the Ramatra, but the cat just going to drag them off the map quickly, and there we go. That's another one for the Ramatra.
Oh, that is tough when you see the Ramatra off the stage, the Bastion falls as well, and it looks like Zaz is going to be pretty close to falling in their own right. You had mentioned how they had been having the squad pushed back up against their own doors here for about a minute now, and it just feels like they're not going to let up. It feels like this full push is all but inevitable.
And yeah, Kitsu comes out here. The Ramatra gets shoved into the pit again! Oh, poor Freakiest. You gotta feel bad watching it. Dies to Cattle, dies to Ben knockback, the Dom knockback. Both supports get picked off here. Deadeye comes out. They're gonna try and charge forward, but that is a very quick full cap. 3:49 remaining on the clock, and that is going to be a very tough round to follow here.
Blink and you miss it, I guess. I mean, talk about a dominant push side here for WTX Kraken. I mean, one fight was all it took to be able to unlock that thing, and I don't think it stopped moving once it started. That 3:49 going to be a hard time to beat. Of course, for LHS Varsity, the most important thing, at least off of RIP, is just making sure you get the full cap. We'll talk about the time at the end, you know?
And yeah, again, I do think this is one of the interesting things. Again, VHEL does not implement or utilize hero bans unlike Overwatch Ranked. As again, there's not really great implementation of them in custom games aside from just disabling heroes. But one of the things worth noting as well is with Jetpack Cat, in a lot of those higher MMRs, almost 100% ban rate. This character is so underplayed in higher MMR because it's literally just not allowed into the game because it is so dominant and so just abnormal, right? Compared to all of the supports who came before. Jetpack Cat is just completely different. There's so many weird things you can do with this character and you have to watch out for. You must have to play a hit scan, which of course hasn't necessarily been a problem, but the Jetpack Cat definitely very, very dangerous, and maybe not when they just sat on the cart, but again, some of these newer characters, Domina as well, very, very, very strong, arguably overtuned, and I'm a little bit concerned to see the Ramatra still being held, but we'll see if it works out on the attack.
I guess if you feel like it's what you're most comfortable on, you hope that maybe you can find some way somehow to overcome the very strong opposition. But yeah, it definitely has not been working for the Freakiest. They'll see if they can make it shake here on the offensive side, but man, still yet struggling off rip.
As the Widowmaker tries to find some shots, not going to get too much, as it's like a swap back over to the Bastion here. I'm, again, a little bit hesitant always to see Bastion without Baptiste, as a very good combo there with the Frizz, be able to focus on keeping that Bastion firing, but we'll see if they can find any good spots to try and break through, as again, if Bastion gets in one good position, they're going to do so much damage here. As a nice May wall, going to hold on to a couple people here. Parasol almost going to go down the wall climb, helps him out quite a bit. Nice Suzu here for Chicharrones to stay alive, as we'll see Sea Serpent should go down. Indeed, they will. Chicharrone able to pick that kill up, as Dr. K now on the side for the Cassidy here, getting harassed quite heavily. Snotty able to get that kill on the Bastion. Domina trying to run away, but the nice walk here from the May, able to holds on to him for a moment, but again, there's just enough healing there. As actually, we have the ult coming out from Domina. This is going to be a refight, it looks like. B going to be forced out from Kakyoi, or maybe not even forced out, but decides to use it for safety. Magically going to get ran backwards. As again, we should have the full cap coming out here, but Sea Serpent thinking about going into stall. Bastion coming in, going to be able to target down, as it will be the Deadeye now. Dr. K not going to be able to find anything. The full cap comes out. Both DPS are dead, as again, it's going to be a nice start now to the round for the side of LHS.
Maybe not quite as clean as WTX Kraken had been able to secure the point, but it was just about darn near as quick as it feels like this LHS Varsity squad has started to get things figured out, and now you've got a couple of ults at your disposal, 3 of them to be exact, and they're going to look to try and play just as aggressive on the front line.
And yeah, I mean, again, we saw, right, once the opposition on the defense can get to this arch, it's so hard to push past, but fortunately the timing of their full cap is going to allow Chicharrones to escort the cart. It looks like Snotty actually going to step back as well to get that 2 out of 3 movement speed on the cart for a little bit, but We'll see them holding here right up to around the second checkpoint, not looking to go as psychotically far ahead as their opposition did against them, but we'll see a pretty reserved position here. Vendetta dashing across. Walla magically could be dangerous. Blizzard comes out here. Magically should get dropped. Indeed, they will. Sea Serpent frozen, Parasol frozen, and just Blizzard is going to pick up a 4-for-0 team fight. Really, really nice wall and ult by Zosiv as they are going to stick 3 out of 3 on the cart. It definitely makes sense. You want this second cap ASAP, so really nice idea. Really well executed there by the May.
Or just about its way to that midway point, which will indeed give them more time. They have to try and continue to push things down from here. It will be Snotty Waddy who's close to falling though.
They're trying to get on the point here. The Cat able to come in. Vendetta as well. Now we're going to have the Dominant ult coming out. Bastion ult just trying to get anything they can to get this last meter and a half, but unfortunate. Okay, this is aggressive. Freakiest is annihilating in a 1 versus 5 and unfortunately gets punished for it. If that ult maybe came out right when that May wall came down, we could have a conversation there. It could be good, but in the 1v5, unfortunately, you just throw away arguably the most valuable combat ult your team has, and now it's going to be gone for another couple minutes while we refarm it as that cart going to slowly start moving backwards, just now passing the 5-meter mark.
And not sure if that was a late call on the pull for the ult or if it was just a panic ult because they were sitting where they were at, but that was tough.
Nice May wall, but unfortunately the wall has to come down, and now we'll see that early kill on Zosiv here. Dr. K flying around in the Deadeye here. We'll see if they can get a pick. Not going to immediately get it, but Chicharron will eventually go down to the damage as magically secures the kill. Snotty Waddy chased down by Sea Serpents. Ven, Lucio trying to slide their way backwards, keep Freakiest alive, but unfortunately that'll be 1 going down, and I don't know the Ramatra is going to be able to get out. It's a nice May wall, but it's not enough here. Zosiv now has to go into the cryo, and this could just be a stagger. The longer we stay in Ice Block, the longer till we die, but no, it's nice support here. Zosiv, no, not able to get out, and it is going to be a really unfortunate stagger here.
It's a very tough stagger, and that kid could potentially continue unless they're able to sustain within this fight itself. The Freakiest is able to at least push them back at bay for now, but it feels like there's been enough time that has already been wasted. There's only 2 minutes left here.
Yeah, the beat comes out from Kakyoi, but it just gets broken through so quickly. Freakiest just going to go down immediately here on this ram, and now there's no tank, so it's just going to be a dive straight into the backline for Sea Serpents. Vendetta here, able to get some healing. The Cat Fur comes out. It's now May. Again, just getting staggered out. It's going to be Chicharrones looking for a swift step. They will find it backwards, but again, now we're down to about 90 seconds. I want to say you only get another 90 seconds, so I think no matter what now, they're going to be at the time and disadvantage in round 3 if they make it there, but they have to make it there. They need to get this triple cap regardless of the time to have a chance of winning this map, so we'll wait and see if they can make it happen. A minute 20 plus overtime to get back to this second checkpoint. A lot of regression has come through with Snotty Waddy. We'll see what they find with the Bastion ult. Cat ult going to come out. Freakiest going to be in a bit of danger, but the Cat ult gets the Bastion ult gets the Cat down, as Sea Serpent going to be breaking back on in here. Goes down early again, and now it's going to be exactly what they need here as they try and continue forward, looking for the Cash on the side. He goes down, and they should get this second checkpoint, so they'll have about 2.5 minutes maybe to try and get this 3rd point.
Big team wipe. It gives them pressure, it gives them map control, and it should give them more time as well, as long as they can indeed secure things up. Snotty Waddy has to continue playing aggressive here.
And yeah, it's not a great pick there to lose your tank for being pretty aggressive on the positioning, but they will retrade Snotty, then retrade Serpent, but there we go. 2 minutes 5 now, as it looks like Kakyoi, not actually, okay, I thought he was going back to spawn to change, but no, just going to be escorting the Bastion there, getting them back as quickly as possible. Definitely good. Make sure you can keep that movement, and again, look here, 3 players sitting on the cart here, keeping that full movement speed. They know that the more time they have, the better, so they're trying to make sure they can do everything they can to get that full cap as quickly as possible. But here we go, Bastion ult form, a couple of ults available. Ramatra Annihilation officially back up now, as we're gonna have a chance to be going in here. Dominant ult onto the backside is the Vendetta diving the back. Ramatra still holding this ultimate, gonna focus on Kiriko at the moment. Kitsu comes out. A minute 30 if we're gonna send this Ramatra ult. We need to do it pretty soon, I think. Parasol gonna get harassed. Vortex comes down. It's gonna be the Ramatra ult. Dr. K ults as well. The Deadeye trying to find pressure. Lucio ult coming in, and we're gonna have this Ramatra though just hitting away at them. It's gonna be Kitsu or the Kiri thrown off the map, but magically dead. Vendetta should go down. Cat as well, all trying to fight their way in, but we will, I believe, see the full cap here. Looks like it'll be about 1 minute and 5 seconds left. Indeed, it will be 1 minute and 5 on the clock, so a healthy disadvantage, but definitely still have the world that they can win back in this map.
That was a huge combo and barrage of ults there on the back end of that from LHS Varsity. I thought when the Kiriko went down, maybe there is a chance that WTX Kraken was still going to be able to hold the line and be able to maybe shut it down on the goal line, but instead it was the full push onto either side. Of course, we will run things back here in the overtime, and it feels like for LHS, this second map has to go to them. I don't know if I'd be wanting to go looking down the barrel of a reverse sweep against this Kraken squad.
And yeah, I mean, again, if you go down to 0, there's a lot of these very neutral maps still, right? Flashpoint and Push coming out. Very difficult to win both of those if you aren't the superior team by far. And obviously, if you go down 0-2, it's going to be pretty difficult to secure both of those map wins. But we'll wait and see if they are able to do it. Flashpoint is always a great map for a turning point, but they don't even necessarily need it as a turning point. They're still in here on Kings Row. Again, it's not a great outlook, right? They're down about 2 minutes, 45 seconds, so they're definitely heavily disadvantaged here for round 3 and round 4. I mean, it's all going to start with a good attack here. You definitely need to get this first capture here. You can still technically win without getting it, but you definitely need to get the full capture on this first point to have a realistic chance. 4 minutes is just too much time to give and not having gotten this first point, so we'll see if they can get it here as Ramatra leads the charge.
Exactly what Ramatra can do here. You mentioned the time difference. It feels like it's got to be all gas and no brakes, but already not only is the Freakiest, but Snotty Waddy both sitting relatively low.
And yeah, Zasev gonna get picked out early, and Sea Serpent back over onto this Reaper. Dr. K as well on Sojourn. A bit of a comp swap, just a more sustained damage. And I don't hate this idea, right? You know it's gonna be the Ramatra Bastion, so you just need to keep sustained damage, keep this DPS coming out as they're gonna get shoved back into their spawn with 25 seconds on the clock. Reaper, look above them here. Reaper's teleporting to the high ground, so this could be really dangerous here behind them in their spawn if Sea Serpent does find a good angle. Freaky is trying to charge toward the backside here. Dr. K and Cat, Lava Tank gonna get ran at now as the Bastion gets Suzu'd up. Sea Serpent trying to run away here, able to get taken pretty low here. They do secure the kill, but Zasev down to the railgun shot. Now it's gonna be the ultimate quick to kill. Chicharron, Snotty Waddy getting soloed by the Domino on the backside, and even if they give up a tick here, they just can't make this attack happen. So 0% secured. It's now going to be just about 4 minutes to grab 33%. So very, very likely this map goes to West Texas unless an absolutely masterclass of a hold comes out here. They would need to hold the entire point, not lose a single fight for almost 4 straight minutes here. So definitely going to be a very, very, very tall challenge here for the side of LHS.
I mean, I'm here for it if they can pull it off, but yeah, the realistic thoughts about 4 minutes of having to hold the line here at this point, it feels like it's darn near impossible for anything but the map number 2 to go to WTX Kraken. But I think the important thing here for LHS Varsity is if you can at least stress them and make them use a majority of the time, you have at least something you can build upon going into map 3.
And yeah, I mean, again, Flashpoint is such a, I don't want to say easy map to turn, right? Because it obviously still requires you to win a fair amount of fights against a very talented team, but it's a very, very good map to get that series momentum back. You go down 2-0, you win Flashpoint, things are looking great, even if it's a close Flashpoint game. I mean, again, we look back at Li Zhang, round 1 and 2, and Li Zhang were pretty close. There's been some back and forth here, but look at this composition, pretty interesting coming out. We saw Reaper Sojourn last time around, as no, they actually do opt back into the Reaper. We saw the Freya hovered there by Sea Serpent for a moment, but it's not going to get held, but definitely keep an eye out for this Widowmaker. Dr. K going to be looking for a nice and early pick.
Let's go ahead and get down to it. We mentioned almost 4 minutes, and LHS is going to have to hold the line. It means you have to find a way to set the tone with this first team fight. It feels like they're almost giving them too much space off rip.
The Sojourn. Yeah, they do just swap back into it. Snotty Waddy over on the Ashe here. It is overtime, so you get the perk. Sea Serpent as well on the top corner, trying to wait for somebody to heal, I believe. There we go. The Cat finds the time as we'll see Freaky is going to lose out on the ult form here. Definitely a timer to try and make this attack happen as magically leads in forward. Now Ramatra trying to stay aggressive, but Snotty Waddy goes down. The Reaper just abusing the backside here. Chicharrones has to go melee, and they do indeed get chased down by the Reaper. Sea Serpent now finds 2. Dr. K finds 1. Ramatra now has to do a lot of the lifting think here. Zasif gets picked off, so it's a 1v4 for Ramatra. He gets taken down, and unfortunately that should be KR here. The soldier not going to make it back to point in time, and that will be it. A very, very close game here, but it does go down 4-3 for the side of West Texas there. Looked really rough for LHS. They were able to fight through, get that triple cap, but unfortunately overtime it didn't have it in for them, as they'll go down 2-0 on the day, but we can see a quick play of the game here from Bastion to help secure this triple cap.
Play from Bastion as far as wrapping up that play of the game. The one thing I wanted to point out is it feels like as much as this matchup has been neck and neck here currently, it feels to me like as far as for this squad, it feels like they're neck and neck until it's not. That third map point was not close. And then even the same thing you can say as far as in the overtime. Once it was time for WTX Kraken to step up and step away, they were able to do just that.
And yeah, again, I personally think both of these teams are relatively close in skill, but my brain keeps coming back to these characters, right? Again, you take a peek at some of those highest ranks ranked just to get the general idea of where these characters are in power, and I keep seeing Domina at the top, 55.1% win rate, the second highest in the game behind the Alari one tricks, and unfortunately, again, I love the guy, he's my main, but Ramatra down there at 41.1%, almost 4 full percent points below the second air quote worst character in the game in Sombra, which again a very technical one trickable character, but Ramatra definitely not in the healthiest spot right now when it comes to Overwatch and the tank meta. So we'll wait and see here if they do keep it going for game 3. I can definitely respect shipping it on the Ramatra, as I know in rough Overwatch games I keep shipping it on the Ramatra, so we'll have to wait and see if that is going to be what they go for. But we do move into Flashpoint, and it looks like we'll be heading to New Junk City here. What do you think? They're obviously pretty similar maps in terms of what you're doing on New Junk or Servasa, but what do you think?
I mean, I feel like you showed a chance to be able to fight back with the way things worked on Control, right? Flashpoint is just a more accelerated version of that. I do feel like, though, if you do look at the side of LHS, it's got to start from the word go. We have seen once momentum gets built over on that opposite side of the server from WTX Kraken, you give them an edge, they'll take a mile, and they know that they're right there on the finish line.
And yeah, I do think it's worth noting here, we do have Dr. K, it looks like, going to the bench, as it will be Charky, I believe, at taking that second DPS spot, presumably. As we'll wait and see when we get into the game, obviously, to make sure that that is going to be the official changes, as we're getting our ready checks in the lobby before we get everything going. As I do like the New Junk City pick here. Ramatra's obviously a character that I think works pretty well on the map, but unfortunately, when you compare Ramatra, a Brawl character, to another certain Brawl character maybe being played out here by the side of Magically, I'm a little bit concerned to see what it is going to be. Maybe there will be some other comp swaps. Again, we saw in King's Row there, swapping between a couple different things. The Bastion came in for a bit, got some good work. Zosiv on the Mei was able to have a really impressive game, especially on their attack there. I think back to that wall and Blizzard to secure the second point. Definitely some good angles there, but yet to quite find it in all connecting, get everything ready to go together in terms of getting past. Obviously, they won that point on Lijiang, but definitely still struggling out here in terms of actually picking up the maps. Like you said, toward the end, they're just falling apart. The third round on Lijiang, the time difference on King's Row, the third round, the extra rounds, I suppose, on King's Row. Definitely a little bit unfortunate, but we get our ready checks here in the lobby, so we should be good to go for our third game here on New Junk City in just a moment. But any predictions, your boy?
It's hard to bet against the sweep here, again, just because of the way that both maps have finished, despite how close they are. I feel like it comes to an end here on New Junk City.
And yeah, we'll wait and see here. I'm definitely hesitant. I'm curious if we will see some character swaps, as obviously some characters feel like you just have to play them. Kiriko, obviously one of those characters, an extremely common pick. You see Kiriko in almost every composition. Obviously the counterpoint being you can't ban Jetpack Cat, so kind of hard to look at data and try and say, well, we can't compare Jetpack Cat because we can't ban characters here. As we see a first initial draft of our characters here in the lobby. We're still yet to actually get fully connected in, but I'm seeing Kakyoy over on the Cat. I'm seeing a Venture. I'm seeing a Freya. So I'm curious to see if those characters will get held into the round, or if maybe we'll go back over to the air quote standard comps we've seen for the past few maps.
And we even saw Freaky, I think, was hovering the Malga for a moment, then did decide, it looked like was going to be potentially going back to the Ramatra. It feels like, you know, as much as we've continued, I don't want to harp on the same point over and over again, but it does feel like the Ramatra is a stress point that you do need to try and switch off of. I'm not sure if I feel much better about Malga playing into the composition that we do see across the way, but you know what? Let him cook. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, I honestly, this could be just a low MMR take, but I definitely think I'd like Ramatra into Domina if your team comps into it. You have to play a comp that functions around Malga. You can't just keep playing the same long-range poke, running the cast with the Malga. So I'm hesitant, again, to see Zosif on the cast with Malgas. You need characters who can get in there and benefit from Cardiac. You need this Malga to be allowed to just run into the Domina, charge past the shield, and hold left and right click. And unfortunately with Cass, I'm not sure how close they're going to want to play it, but it is what they're playing, so we'll see how it goes. Malga, Cass, May up against Domina, Venture, and Reaper, with both teams running Kiriko and Lucio or the Cat coming out, as Freaky is taking a lot of damage here early. And I mean, again, on Malga, you have to get in. You're going to keep getting chunked out against this Domina unless you go melee and start holding your buttons down, as we'll see them try and back away here. We're going to have to pick a time to go in soon here. A lot of damage getting chunked through. They're going to start losing players if they aren't careful or start quick. And here we go, charging in on the Malga, but we get knocked back behind the wall. It's a beautiful boof there, and they will be able to win this first fight for it. It should just be a 5-0 wipe here.
And like, I get it, right? Like, if you're the Freakiest, you continue to see your health tick away. You want to try and find a way to block line of sight, get fully healthy before you push forward. But at some point, you just have to full send and hope that your squad's with you and disrupt that back line. They tried to, couldn't successfully pull it off, and first point, at least available for now, or should I say in control now, for WTX Kraken.
And yeah, I mean, again, this just isn't the comp that you need to see with Malga. We'll see if they are able to somehow make it work, obviously. There's always a world that Malga hits a stomp on a main target, get the one tap, and you roll through the fight. Obviously, someone like the Cass or May could get a good wall, a good headshot, and get the same success. But here we go. Freakiest trying to find the spot. Venture comes up out of the ground to the burrows. Well, the Freakiest now, again, he's getting chunked out. He has to send it here magically. Going in, Maywall comes out, gets knocked behind the shield. We need to step past it and get the Cardiac on, but we can't. Freakiest just the first pick again, and I expect to see the same result. Just a quick 5-0 team fight. Looks like Snotty and Chicharron may be able to navigate their way to safety, but again, the Malga just gets thrown behind the Vendetta, not the Vendetta, I keep saying Vendetta, the Domina shield, and unfortunately they're not able to re-stabilize. So whether they need to pull the trigger sooner, slower, change this comp up to better support the Malga, or there we go, it is going to be what we see, change the Malga up to better support this comp. So it is going to be a Risa. I'm not sure how it is into Domina, but I suppose we'll wait and see. There's no reason not to try something new.
Yeah, I was going to say, I felt like there is going to have to be a quicker pull of the trigger to switch things up. I do have to agree with you. Not sure how I feel about taking the horse down the Old Town Road, but we'll see if Freakiest can continue to ride till they can't no more. As they will be making their way towards this next point, looking to lead the charge, but again, it just feels like hitting their shots as a WTX Kraken squad.
Yeah, it's an interesting Death Blossom from Sea Serpent. It does support the kill onto Lucio, who will get taken down by the Venture, but here we go. Zosif goes down, and yeah, it's just the damage. There's just too much DPS right now. There goes Chicharron, Freakiest, and Snotty. It's another 5-0 team fight, essentially. The early kill on Lucio, of course, stops it from being a team kill, but we'll have the Cat back away to grab Sharky, which is the other thing I did want to note there. We do have, of course, the side of Dr. K coming out for Sharky, but instead of Sharky slotting that DPS position, they're going to move into support, and Terrasol is going to move into DPS. So still have that slot on the Kiriko. As there we go. An early kill magically just throws Zasif into a wall for the early brutal kill here, as we'll have Kikoi able to get away again on this Lucio, as the horse trying to charge forward, but they just don't have the damage with them right now to support, to out-harass both of the supports. Just hard healing on to this Domina's 60% now secured up. Sombra comes out for the side of Snotty Waddy. Zosif does get the early kill on Tank Sharky. Nice Susie, they were able to outpass the hack, but Parasol goes down early here as well. We could see our first fight win of the map now as a 5v3. Sharky goes down 5v2. Serpent magically. There we go. We'll get the first flip here for the LHS side.
Look at it in time, up to 82% was all the Kraken were able to get. Now the question is, how much can LHS Varsity hold on to things? Of course, with Flashpoint, those points do go by well, in a flash. For them, you've already got themselves up to 20%. You figure maybe one more solid team fight and then get that first point on the board.
And yeah, I mean, as you say, right, it's literally in the name of the game mode. These rounds are quick here. Each of these points already almost halfway through the possession for LHS as Kitsu gets blocked off early. Now it's going to be the tech shock with Lucio barrier not able to come through quite in time. Arisa trying to hold on. Spear comes out, but they're not going to get too much. Tech shock for the double kill on the supports. They follow it with a kill on Zosiv. Freakiest goes down to the tank mirror, and it will be the reflip now for this West Tech side here. 90% and counting. I don't think Sombra will touch it. They're running around the left here. Actually, it does look like Snotty's thinking about the touch here. Gets on point, gets out of invis, is able to translocate back to safety, but Kakyoy even now gets picked out. It will be the support jumping on in. Chicharron trying to hop in. Arisa going to commit the ult here. It's a really expensive fight attempt that's already in such a rough position. Zosiv drops the Deadeye here, and we sent so many ults to try and make it happen, but none of those attacks were really that coordinated, so unfortunately, they're just throwing a whole lot at the wall, and unfortunately for them, nothing ended up sticking, so it is just going to be the second point now secured for the West Tech side as they lead both the map and series 2-0.
Look, I love the idea of trying to put all your chips on the table and push back towards that point. I think it's the ults that are throwing me for a loop for a little bit. Those could have been a big value that you could have used to potentially turn things around in your favor early on this third point. Instead, now all you have is Snotty Watch.
Yeah, Cat Blossom comes in here just to get the damage down. Zosiv and Chicharrones both get dropped out. There goes the Freakiest, a triple kill for Sea Serpent. As I do feel it worth noting here, just verbally, for anyone who didn't read, we did get an update there in the chat from this West Texas side. Charky, actually one of their main starter players, so this presumably the main roster. Obviously, maybe trying some different things out to start the season there, maybe getting some playing time for some of their alternates there. Dr. K obviously had some nice games while they were in, but we'll wait and see for them later in the season how they progresses. Well, Snotty Waddy EMP. Look at the Sombra, finds 3, one of each position. Sea Serpent dead early, no race for him in that hack as Lava Tank and Magically the other two suffering from it, but they will be able to end through. Opticon comes out from the Dominant, able to shoot through though for the Arisa. We'll keep this damage going forward. The point starting to get flipped now about halfway through 3/4. They do get the flip here, 52% now, counting past 5 for this LHS side.
How high they can push it. You got to be able to continue to hold on. The Freak is trying to get aggressive, quickly pushes into the back line, trying to see if they can find themselves one, but no dice. That's tough.
As, yeah, look at Parasol now on the backside, trying to pressure 70% toward that next tech shot. Cat ult comes out, grabs Freakiest. Fortify not going to be able to get them too much here. Freakiest dead, Kakyoy dead. It's going to be another slaughter here. Zosiv and Snotty, the only two alive, neither of them in the combat room, so they will be able to back away here. Sombra, obviously, a bit of a tough one to find, as actually does get spotted out by the Venture here, but is able to just translocate back to safety. But Reaper finds them once again, but unfortunately not going to get that kill for them, as they will back away. Force now. Arisa moves forward. Sea Serpent, that's an aggressive Kitsu. Snotty now moving around the back. It looks like it's going to be a back tap from the Sombra, as we do have a couple of ults. Arisa ult, Lucio gold coming out now. It's going to be Parasol moving in the Cat, coming to contest here, but this is going to be flipped now. Freakiest dead, Chicharron dead, Zosiv dead, Kakyoy dead. At the 4-for-1 here, Lava Tank goes down as Snotty Waddy possessing the point here. They are just holding on, but unfortunately your entire team is dead, 96%. Yeah. You have no HP to work with. Jumps on point here, shoved into the wall, and that should be the final kill of the day here. We'll see if they're in time. Lucio might try and fly in, but no, the overtime burns away. 3-0 on Flashpoint, 3-0 on the day, and it will go over to the West Texas Kraken.
You know what? We'll give you an A for effort for the thoughts of the back cap to potentially turn things around, but West Tex just ends up being a bit too much, and it's going to be Magically who does walk away with that play of the game this time around, as it feels like everyone kind of got a little bit of their own shine on over the course of that series.
And yeah, I mean, again, well played it there, obviously making use of some of those top picks in the meta. Vendetta as well, one of those characters who has been a terror since release, so definitely well played there. Really like a lot of the strategy that they had going into the series, and obviously it clearly worked out for them. Map 1 and 2 had some back and forth moments there. They were able to hold on, win out at the end, and of course can say the same on this other side where Map 3, they just held on, right? They were able to win even on some of those tough fights. They lost the points for a bit. the back cap came through. But obviously, at the end of the day, XPL able to take this nice start to the season. Again, for anybody looking on the standings, every team currently listed at 1-0, which is going to just indicate whenever their bye week is. I think they're going to try and get the bye game removed out of the system there, so it's not as visible. But for all form and function, round one of the Swiss, or not Swiss, rather, just the full round robin, is going to go over to this side of West Texas, who again, starting off with a pretty nice W for their season.
Looking incredibly solid. I do gotta say, even over on that LHS side, I know it's always tough to start off your season with an L. But I feel like that there were some points that, especially when you go back and watch the VODs on this, that you'll be able to take away and still be able to build upon through the rest of the spring. I mean, it's only week number 1 and definitely showed some flashes of some good things to build on.
And yeah, I mean, again, like you mentioned, we can go back through and just see when they're winning those fights, right? They're getting good picks. Or again, like I mentioned, Zostiv on King's Row had some great plays on the May, where again, you're not necessarily just talking about hitting headshots. So still able to find some nice set pieces, some nice ideas and comp ideas is obviously, again, maybe not necessarily fitting into the full form of the meta, but even then, playing the air quote weaker comp like something based around that Ramatra, they were still able to find round wins, still able to find some success. Unfortunately for them, just not able to come through completely, as they do get swept on the opening day. But again, I mean, as you mentioned, there are definitely a lot of bright spots that they can go back through and continue to build on. Maybe some of the patches later on in the season will benefit them a little bit more compared to what they ended up losing to today. But as for us, unless you have anything else, Q, I think that'll be about it for us today.
No, honestly, just an absolute blast to be able to jump up on the desk with you today, Colonel. Hopefully we get to run it up some more. But of course, you and I, we do have the easy job. Got to make sure we're giving a big shout out to the man behind the curtain's edge, giving us the views and the vibes, the eyes and the skies. Without him, it's just two talking heads, and as much fun as I'm sure we would have. We got to make sure that it takes a village to put together this this production. We hope you guys enjoyed. We hope to catch you back for some more VHEL action. Make sure you hit that follow button down the bottom right-hand corner. Turn those notifications on. Until we do catch you back for the next one, man. Don't forget, with everything crazy going on in the world today, be true, be you, be sincere, game hard and love hard. All right, y'all? That's Colonel. I'm Q. For the rest of the crew here from the front to the back, y'all have a great rest of your week. Peace. We're out of here.